All right, folks, we are live, and this is Kathy Belletti, founder of Motivate with K.A.T, and we are talking about higher education leadership. For those of you who did not get an opportunity to watch the intro video last week, I started a very short series on leadership in higher education and how to really empower yourself while you're trying to inspire and empower a group of admissions advisors. You know, a lot of times we always talk about how to get them to perform at a higher level, how to inspire them, how to encourage them, how to keep them motivated. But a lot of times I hear from leaders, well, what about us? Right? Because we're doing all of this pouring into, but who's pouring into the leaders? And I know firsthand how that feels because I have worked in higher education for over 17 years. And I'm telling you, my leaders out there, you guys have a very challenging job and you are rocking it. If no one has told you that, okay, I'm telling you today, you are killing it in the game. So, this is going to be 10 very short videos on how to keep your cup full in order to encourage and inspire your advisors while bringing out the best version of yourself. So here we go. This series is called Admissions Leadership Unplugged, Real Talk for Real Growth. Because let's get real, in order to grow, you have to get real with yourself. All right. So we're going to start all the way at the beginning. Number one, did you become a leader for the right reason? You know, you have so many people who are in leadership for years and they still never felt that spark, right? Some people may have the cop syndrome. And what that is, I've spoken to so many people over the years where I have asked, so what made you want to become a cop? And their response was, well, I figured if I can't beat them, I might as well join them. That is the absolute worst reason to become a part of law enforcement. But you would be surprised how many people go into leadership because of the same exact reason. They're thinking, you know what, I have been an employee all of my life and I'm tired of being bossed around, disrespected, being told what to do. So you know what? I'm going to be a boss too. That's not a good reason because leadership is very critical. It's a calling and it's not a calling that's on everyone's life. Okay, so you have to be able to tune in to yourself and say, you know what, did I really become a leader for the right reason? Here's the second thing, you want to be able to boss people around. I'm tired of being on this side, so I want to become a leader because I like to tell people what to do. Now, for some of you, you may be thinking, okay, well, that's ridiculous, but you'll be surprised how many people's mouths this has come out of. All right. So this is why people always say there's a huge difference between a boss and a leader. When you're a leader, there's supposed to be people behind you who's actually following you because they want to, not because they absolutely have to show up for you because they need a paycheck in order to feed themselves and their families, right? But when you are a leader, you're not telling people what to do. You are showing people how it's supposed to be done. This is why they say follow the leader. I am emulating what I see. So this is why so many people, when they're in that position, they're wondering, why are my team's falling apart? It seems like nobody on this team respects me. Well, are you doing anything to make them respect you? Are you really leading by example? You have to be able to ask yourself those questions, right? And here's the third point. You want to work less hours. Now, here's the thing. I've had so many bosses. Notice I didn't say leaders, but I've had so many bosses who used to come in half day and they go into their offices or their designated spaces and they throw their feet on the desk and they go like this and do absolutely nothing. And guess what? Their teams did not respect them at all. And it's not that they didn't respect them because they're like, well, how come I can't work half day? What it was is the time that they were at work, they still weren't doing absolutely nothing. So this is how you lose respect for a manager, right? Now, here's the thing. When I was actually leading admissions teams, and in one instant, I was traveling 2.5 hours each way. I was always there before my team, One, because it's quiet, and I want to make sure that I am emotionally and mentally ready for whatever my team is going to bring my way when that first person walks through the door, right? But then at the ending of the day, that was my opportunity to regroup when the building is quiet and I don't have anybody talking to me, right? But here's the thing, even though I was there before my team and after my team, I'm not saying that you need to work 12 to 24 hours a day, as a leader, but here's what happens. When your team sees that you're putting in just the same amount of effort or even more than they are, those days when you are tired and you're like, you know what, I am out of here. I need to take a half day because I need to take a break. Guess what? Your team is not going to be surprised because they're going to say to themselves, you know what? She's been killing it every single day. So yes, they may even encourage you. Shouldn't you go home? When do you rest? When do you take a break? They would respect that. They would understand and they will actually reward it and encourage it because they see you going hard for them every single day. All right. So when you talk about leadership, you have to ask yourself, am I really in this role for the right reason? That is so important. I've also heard so many people say, well, you know what? I just want to open my own business because I want to be my own boss and I don't want anybody bossing me around and telling me what to do. Here's the problem with that. If you want to become an entrepreneur just to get away from people telling you what to do, it's never going to last, right? Because if in fact you want to become your own boss and you want to start something, a lot of times it has to start from here. It has to be something that you felt deep within. And that's how you know that now you're presenting a service. You will not have a successful business if you are not serving people. So if you just want to randomly just open a company just to get away from people telling you, okay, this is what you need to do next, that's going to be a problem because now that business just became all about you and not about the people that you serve. All right. So be very careful. Here's my second thing for my leaders out there. Even if you are considering the role of a leader, or for some of you who have probably been in this role for years and years, and you just feel like something is disconnected, right? I don't feel empowered or inspired when I wake up in the morning to go lead anybody. One, let's get real with yourselves, okay? Your teams get on your nerves sometimes. And that's just the bottom line, right? That is just the bottom line because the bottom line is your team consists of people and people can be very frustrating and annoying. So there's nothing wrong with coming in the morning and you're looking at your team and you're like, nothing wrong with that. But what I'm referring to is if you are thinking about becoming a leader, there's 4 things that I want you to consider. After you've done all of your research and you've looked into what it entails, you have to say to yourself, how do I feel emotionally after reading up on this, after doing my research on this type of role? How do I feel mentally? How do I feel spiritually? And lastly, how do I feel physically? After you've been talking to all of your gurus in the business who have been leaders forever, you're doing your own research, you're talking to everyone else and you're asking their opinion of what they think true leadership is. In listening to this and doing your own research, if you are emotionally shaken, okay, if mentally you're like, okay, I already feel overwhelmed and I haven't even begun the position yet, right? If your spirit is just out of whack and things are not coming together, and if you start feeling sick to your stomach, run. This is not the position for you. It's not the position for you because if you are not in tune with yourself and how you feel about certain situations, why would you even take the step to go down that road? Just because you may have the potential to make more money, be your own boss, have a team that you can lead. But if it's not in here, what is the point? Because no one is going to gain anything from you being a leader. You're not going to gain anything, and the people are going to miss out because you're not here for the right reason. So think about that. And you could also think about that in any decision that you're making. My leaders who have been in the industry for God knows how long, if you start to feel, okay, this is not the same drive that I had 10 years ago, I want you to consider this too. How do I feel emotionally right now in my role? How do I feel mentally, spiritually, physically? We've all been there, right? You get up in the morning and all of a sudden you got a headache or your stomach is just turning, thinking about the job that you spent 80% of your life at. It may be time for a change, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I say this all the time. Sometimes you have to consider, are you living today for who you are as a person today, or for who you were 10 years ago? And if in fact you were in a career because you were someone else 10 years ago, and now it's not in line with who you are today, there's absolutely nothing wrong with starting over, and it's never too late. All right, so that was the first series, and I really hope that you guys gained a lot from this video. All right, we are going to be hitting the ground running. I will make an announcement for when the next video will come out. Until then, keep rocking it.